It's time to babble the fuck on. It's Hollywood Babble-On. With your hosts, Kevin Smith and Ralph Garman.
I guess I could have fucking stayed at home.
Oh, stop it. They love you the most.
It is Wednesday night in London, ladies and gentlemen.
Woo!
So let's babble the fuck on. I'm Kevin Smith.
I'm Ralph Garman.
Hey! Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God, it's been a fantastic week abroad with fucking Babble and Ralph's giant balls.
Yes. Thank you so much for being here this evening. Thanks to all of the UK, Manchester and Birmingham, and then Edinburgh and Dublin. All of the places we visited this past week have just been so incredibly welcoming and warm and friendly, and it's been a great, great trip. And I wanted to say really quickly before we go any further, I am so lucky to be able to come across the ocean and meet so many great people who appreciate what I do, but none of it would be possible without the gentleman to my right, Mr. Kevin Smith, who makes it all possible. So thank you so much for making this happen. It's been a blast, sir.
Oh my God, you're so sweet.
Thanks for sharing your audience with me for all these years.
Vice versa, man. It's a whole different audience and stuff. We do this together. Stop it. You're going to make me cry on stage. Holy shit, man. Let me fucking tell you this fucking story. So we got here to London just today. We flew in, and then...
Who knew it was closed? That was what surprised me.
What do you mean?
The center of London was closed today.
There's a lot of non-movement going on.
Yes.
I just thought that was fucking normal for London. Like the traffic, you just can't fucking move and shit. It's so weird being in a car and watching pedestrians lap you, you know? So we got to the hotel in London and checked in and shit. And centered myself with some fine local smoke. And then was looking for some hummus, because instantly I was like, need hummus.
Sure.
And, you know, it's the vegan go-to when you're abroad and stuff. And
The legendary garbanzo.
Yes, man, grind that chickpea up. I don't want to eat it as a chickpea, but if you chew it up like a bird and spit it in my mouth, I'll eat it.
Oh. So you have to pay extra for that if that's how you order it?
That's vegan, so
yeah,
there you go.
I guess.
So I asked the folks at the front desk, I was like, hey man, where's the nearest place I can get some hummus and falafel? And they were like, oh, it's like literally a 4-minute walk from here and shit. I'm like, oh my God, I am so baked, I'll totally walk. And
You'll float down the street.
Oh,
actually.
It was so great, man. I felt like it was like, because it was just a lovely walk. The day has been beautiful for those following along at home, you know, assuming the weather is like London. It wasn't. It was better than Los Angeles. It's been raining in Los Angeles all week. We've had this glorious weather while we've been over here, and today was absolutely no different. So I'm fucking walking along the streets, man, singing like I'm in Sweeney Todd and shit, just enjoying the fuck out of myself, and then find this place they sent me to, it was a Lebanese restaurant. And so I was like, hey man, I'm looking for some hummus. They're like, you come to the right place, sit, eat. And I'm like, fucking hey. So I ordered, told them, I'm on a plate of falafel and some fucking hummus and some pitas and stuff. And I had like those earbuds in, right. And I was watching an episode of Flash, the season finale. I'm not gonna spoil it, but the season finale of Flash aired in the States, so I was able to watch it over here on like my iTunes and shit. And without spoiling it, it is fucking crazy emotional. Oh. Like, I was bawling by the end of the fucking show. Not even just like rolling a tear like, well done, but just like, ooh! Oh, that show gets me every time. So the dude who was serving me like came over because like, I'd been done. My trays were just kind of sitting there. And I was trying to keep the tears in the corner and shit like that, but I couldn't avoid him when he came over. So he goes, are you okay? Is it the food? And I said, no. He goes, this fucking killed me. He goes, are you sad that you're an American?
Say yes, but
I was like, inherently, I believe you're right. Yes. Oh, it was fucking dope, man. So, but I was already fucking emotional today. Don't make me emotional. That's so fucking sweet.
Well, it's
that
very
was like
kind of you.
Flash season finale sweet.
I don't know
man.
about that. I didn't say run, Kevin, run, or anything like that.
Oh, it's fucking dope.
We're at the O2, for God's sakes. How cool is this place?
This is fantastic. I've been here before. It's so fucking strange. Like when I knew we were coming here, this is where we were wrapping up. I was like, oh wait, I've fucking been there. And then when I came through the back door,
I bet you did, big boy.
Because that's how I like it. No. It's really messy. I don't actually like it like that. So when I was coming through the back door, I was like, holy shit. The last time I was here, the last time I played here, I played a couple nights like by myself, Q&A, and Alan Rickman came to one of the nights, man. Wow. Was anybody here for the Alan Rickman night? So I didn't dream that shit. You were there. Oh, it was fucking lovely. Him and Rima, his lady, both came to see the show. Obviously, I loved him, and I've spoken about him in many places and stuff. But in order to set the table, I'll say a few things about the great Alan Rickman. We got lucky enough to work with him in Dogma. At the end of Dogma, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe we worked with the great Alan Rickman. And Alan Rickman, wanted my contacts. He's like, give me your information. We'll keep in touch. And I'm like, oh, that's what people say at the end of the movie. I said that to Affleck, and I haven't spoken to him since.
Right.
So
yeah.
I was like, that's just a movie thing to say. But he legit was interested in me as a friend. It was fucking heartbreaking the day I realized, oh my God, he actually likes me. This isn't him being polite because we worked together once 10 years ago.
Right.
He's legit interested in my fucking life. Anytime he was in the States, he would call up and be like, I'm here in the States, it's your duty to show me around and shit. And so we'd go out, and then anytime I was here, he would call me again. It was a real one-way street, and not because I was ew, Alan Rickman's on the phone. But I never thought to call him. That would be like me thinking to call, fucking, I don't know, Jesus, and being like, let's fucking hang out when I go to London. I just assumed he's busy living his life and shit. But no matter, whenever I came over, he always call up, find me. He found me the trip that I was over here, and my hotel phone rang. And I said, hello? And I thought it was back in the days pre-cell phone. This predates fucking texting and shit like that. Right. So I answered the goddamn phone because I would never do that today. And answered the phone, and I said, hello? And he goes, is this Kevin Smith then? And I was like, oh my God, it's you. And he goes, why haven't you called? He's like, you've been here for 3 days. I'm not going to do the accent. He's like, you've been here for 3 days, you haven't called. And I was like, I was working, and I just assumed you were working too. And he goes, well, I want to come see your show. I've heard from so many people that they've gone to see you. I want to come see you speak. I said, oh my God, I can hook you up with free tickets. He goes, I hope they're free. Great actor, thrifty man.
Sure.
So he came and watched the show and sat, I want to say fucking because he was dead center, where? It was up, so that's, in the front of this level. That's right. Fuck, you remember better than me.
He's probably less stoned than you are. That's what I'm guessing.
Well, my perspective was I wasn't sitting back then. I was standing. So I remember being able to see him. And down here, I just assumed it was it. But you're right. He was on the second floor, and I was standing the whole night. So he was always within an eye shot. Periodically, I'd fucking look at him and shit while I was doing the stories. And he, after, I didn't single him out or anything like that. And then at the end of the fucking night, we drove back together to town. Because,
cool.
I don't know if you know this, but it's a fucking 100 hours to London, to the center of town and shit. So we got in the car. It was me and Jennifer and him and Rima and stuff. And I was like, what'd you think of the show? And he was going, you were very funny, but I got to say, I loved being at your show tonight. And I was like, oh, why? I didn't get that a lot. People are like, oh, I like to see you in your element or something like that. But his thing, bless you, his thing, he goes I loved being at your show tonight because everybody there knew who I was.
You got a lot of love.
All of your fans came over and said such wonderful things and took pictures and stuff. And this is, again, before the cell phones. These are pictures with cameras, actual fucking cameras and shit, where people put a drape over their back and go like that.
It's a big flash of powder.
Old-timey shit.
Yeah.
So it was so fucking sweet. It's such a really nice memory of driving back with him and him talking about the show. He was like, it's so, he did say, it was it's really nice to see you stand up there and just talk and stuff. He's going, because in the movie, you don't do that at all. And I was like, oh my God, you're right. He goes, when you think about it, they owe you an award. And I was like, why? He goes, because it really takes a performance for you not to talk. You're always talking. And then also when we were fucking driving back, he goes, that was the thing, I've said this story before, but I fucking love it. He goes, I'll see you a lot more lately because I just bought a flat in London. I was like, we don't call it that. It's an apartment. He goes, I bought an apartment in London, in New York, he said. I was like, get out of here in fucking New York, man. Where? And he said where it was. And I said, that's fucking awesome. I go to New York way more than I ever come to London and stuff. And he was getting ready to do This Is Rachel Corrie as a play, I think, on Broadway at that point. So he was going to be there for a long period of time. And so he was like, I said, where is it? And he told me where it was. And I was like, oh, there's a building there? He's like, there's a brand new building there. And I bought an apartment there because my friend told me about the building. He has an apartment there. And I was like, who's your friend? And he goes, Ray Fiennes. And I was like, holy shit. And he goes, that's right. He's going, Voldemort and Snape live in the same building.
They're neighbors.
He goes, we can't let the Potter fans find out. They'll tumble it to the ground.
That's right.
So sweet. I miss him. But last time I was here, I left with him. Tonight I'll be leaving with Ralph.
Yeah. Same quality performers by your side.
Same gender. Counts.
I wasn't here ever. This is my first time here in the Indigo, but thank you so much. But I have been to the big room because last time we came out here to do Hollywood Babble-On, you may remember one of the reasons I pushed so hard for that tour is because Monty Python was also reuniting to perform at the O2. So I got to see them here, and that was one of the great thrills of
What was that? How was that? Long show?
No, about 90 minutes, I guess. You know, they did all the greatest hits. They did Spam and Nudge Nudge.
Did you feel like you were a kid again?
Yeah, it was like being it was in comedy heaven watching those guys.
Little time machine.
Yeah.
And shit.
So this part of the world has great memories for me.
I did something today that I've never done. I rarely get a chance to talk about new shit that's happened to me and stuff. And generally, whenever we do a show, I go from like the hotel to the car to the venue. But today I went on an adventure. Dom, who was such a help to us, Dom worked with Jason Mewes on a movie that Jason directed both in the States and over here. It's called Madness in the Method. Am I right, Dom? Thank you. And Jason directed it, did a great fucking job. Like everybody he knows is in it, pulled in a lot of cool people and shit. And so when we did Jay and Silent Bob reboot, Dom was there because he liked, Jay and Silent Bob, and he liked the View Askew movie. So he was like, if you guys are making that movie, can I come and hang out? And I said, oh my God, absolutely, by all means. Dom wound up being like an asset to the production, not just somebody who showed up to like watch the show, which is always nice. But he actually is like, I love Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, the movie that we just finished making. For those unfamiliar, I made a sequel to Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. And the movie is entitled Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, and I'm in love with it. It's my favorite thing I've ever done. If I die tomorrow, I'm okay now, because I'm like this. No, I'm cool.
Don't tempt fate. We've been through that once already.
I know. But I'd be okay, because this really speaks for the life. This speaks for the whole career and the life. It's really turned into a great flick. Funny as fuck, but also just this really warm thing. So on day one of production, when we got there, first day we had 9 pages of dialogue to shoot. And that's a lot. And that's between me, Jason Mewes, and Jason Lee, who's playing Brody, the character that he played in Mallrats and Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back as well. So 9 fucking pages. And to be fair, it's not between the 3 of us because Silent Bob has no dialogue
That's
whatsoever.
true, yes.
So it's 9 pages between the 2 of them. And Jason Mewes has the heavier lifting because he has to set up the whole movie. It's the scene in which we introduce the premise and whatnot. And the premise of the movie is vastly different than the movie that we're sequelizing. If you remember Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, that was a movie in which Jay and Silent Bob found out that Hollywood was making a movie based on them. And so they ran across country to stop Hollywood from making that movie and stuff. And that was fine for 2001 and shit, but it's 2019, and I'd like to think that I've grown as a filmmaker, hence that walrus picture.
Yeah.
And I've learned a few things, and so I could never fucking make that movie again. So the sequel, the Jay and Silent Bob reboot, is its name, is completely different than the movie that it's sequelizing. In that movie, Jay and Silent Bob find out that Hollywood is making a reboot of that old movie about them.
Oh, I see.
And then they travel back to Hollywood to stop it all over again. It's the same fucking movie all over again. It's my little film school experiment, see if I get paid twice for the same fucking movie.
Smart.
So while we're doing that, we're doing the scene with Brody, and that sets up the plot where they boys find out in this scene that, hey, they're making a reboot of that old movie. And they're like, what? And this is the scene where we decide we have to go back to Hollywood and stuff. So first day, 9 pages. This is a movie we've been getting ready to make for 2 fucking years and stuff. And I've been ready. Oh, I've been so fucking ready, man. I looked for all the directions a possible bullet could come from that might fucking, hit me. I wasn't expecting that. I was prepared, bitch. I've been making movies at this point for 25 fucking years. So I'm like, nothing's gonna get fucking past me at this point. Thank you.
The old pro.
That being said, there was a bullet, and it came from Jason Mewes. The guy standing next to me. Jason was ill-prepared for our first day of shooting. He didn't memorize 9 pages of dialogue.
Oh, that's
What
problematic.
he did was, Jason's philosophy was like, it'd been about, let me see, to his credit, 2006 since we'd done a movie together as Jay and Silent Bob. And to be fair, we were only in about 25% of that movie. So technically, it's been 18 years since he's done a Jay and Silent Bob movie where he's the sole fucking lead and stuff. And when you're in, like, the lead of a movie is one thing from being the lead in a Kevin Smith movie, because in Kevin Smith movie as the lead, you say ridiculous amounts of fucking dialogue.
He is a wordy motherfucker, that guy.
That writer, he's so verbose. But, you come prepared. Jason Lee hadn't acted in 4 years. He came prepared and shit, knew all his dialogue and whatnot. Jason Mewes had gotten used to, since our time together, just going to a set and memorizing the day's work while he was in the makeup chair, because he's like, I've been doing this for 20 years now, or whatever the fuck. And then, ready to go. But he didn't realize that, like, bro, you've got 3 monologues that are 4 pages long. Like, you can't just memorize even one of those the morning of. Like, you got to put in the work. So day 1 was tough, man. It was real heavy lifting and shit. And I was like, look, I understand what's wrong. In all the other productions, I spent time with him, like, just drilling dialogue. But I didn't have that time on this production. And plus, like, he was a kid when we used to do that shit. And he's like fucking middle-aged. It's like, learn your fucking lines and shit, So but he needs somebody to drill lines with him. So Dom was there, and I was like, Dom, just fucking drill lines with Jay. Jay is way comfortable with Dom and stuff. I need you to just constantly run lines with him. That can never happen again. He's always got to know his fucking lines and stuff. And that never happened again. Day 2 was a 180-degree turn for Jason. He always knew his dialogue like the day in advance. So whatever we were shooting, he knew the next day's dialogue as well. He became overly prepared. He learned from his mistake and completely self-corrected without browbeating and shit like that. It was really great. But Dom was the guy that would drill dialogue with him every fucking day. And there was a vast difference between day 1 and day 2 when Dom was able to just sit there, and Jason just needed somebody to run dialogue with, and also somebody who understood the script. Dom did, Jason really didn't at the end of the day. He's like, why are we doing this again? And I'm like, didn't you read the fucking script? He's like, just my parts. So Dom read the script and appreciated it and would explain concepts to Jason where Jason was like, oh. And that's what made it funny and for him, and he could give a better performance. So Dom is like, he'll have some sort of fucking credit in the movie, but you'll
Muse
never.
wrangler.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But you'll never know what, you will, and now folks on the podcast will know that it wasn't just like, man, he helped out. Like Jason's performance bounces off of Dom. Whenever I was not on camera, when I was like off camera because I'm the director, and I was like, it's in order for us to go fast, I should watch the scene because Silent Bob's not really in it. It's more just his shoulder or something like that. Jason would be like, can Dom do it? Give him the coat. And so when you watch the movie, sometimes it's Dom.
Little piece of Dom in there?
A little piece of Dom as opposed to like Silent Kev, it's Silent Dom and shit like that. So it was a boon to the production, man. And so today, Dom saved me again because apparently, as you said, the center of London was shut down. A car ride out here was going to be 3 hours, and it was going to make me like an hour late for the fucking show. And they were like, or you could take the tube. And I've never taken the tube in my life.
I know, yeah.
because I fucking grew up watching American Werewolf in London, and so fuck that, man. Fuck the tube. I couldn't get down the fucking elevator, the escalator, the stairs. Like all of that was terrifying enough. But they're like, Dom will bring you, folks here. Like Dom's gonna escort you. He's gonna get you to the tube, and he'll get you on the tube, and he'll get you to us. And if you do that, you're gonna be there in 25 minutes. And like, otherwise, you're gonna sit in the car for 3 hours. Is 25 minutes in possible hell, or 3 hours in the back of a car? And it's not hell because it's easy. Everybody does it. I was like, I know, but I don't even take the subway in New York, man. Like, fucking, this will be new for me and shit. And they're like, Dom will protect you. So
In
like,
Dom we trust.
And I do. So I was like, you know what? If it's Dom, I'll fucking go for it. So I smoked a fuck ton of weed. Because I was like, this is the only way I'm going to brave this shit. Because the whole time I'm like, you know what? It's either content for a podcast or I'm going to die. It's either one.
Which would be content for my podcast,
Yes.
which would be great. Yeah.
Somebody's going to get a story out of this.
Exactly.
So we fucking marched to the fucking underground. I've seen that sign forever. And I've heard it referred to. I've seen it in movies and shit like that. But, that term, the tube, like I always thought was like, oh, it's like a colloquialism because you're in because the tunnel is a fucking tube and shit. I've been in one New York subway car, and to be fair, it was fairly spacious and shit. I wouldn't want to live there, but but there was some room and whatnot. We got in this fucking tube, bro. I mean, they're not fucking around. It is literally a tube. There's no irony in the name whatsoever. It's like, fuck, like getting mugged down here. We're all gonna die in this tube.
No.
Oh my God, it is so small and there's no seating and shit like that. And I was like, we're gonna do this for 25 minutes? And they're like, yeah, it's gonna go by like that. And I'm like, people do this all the time? They're like, yeah, all the time. I'm like, there's no fucking space. They can't build this bigger? They're like, it's fucking history above us, bro. You can't just go building tunnels and shit. America's only 2 minutes old and shit.
You sound like such an American right now. Why isn't it bigger? And why doesn't it have a buffet? I would like a spread of foods when I come in here. Like a couple hot dishes, and then maybe just some cold cuts and cheeses over here.
I asked him, I was like, is there like a bar car or something like that? And he's like, no, it's the tube, man. And I was like, do they have bar cars on subways? I was like, I don't take the subways in New York and shit. So yeah.
The answer is no. They don't have them there either. No.
There was no food either. But it was, what an interesting experience, man. It went by so fucking fast. I don't know, honestly, and I know like he's probably blushing, but I don't know I would have gotten through it without Dom. It was confusing as fuck, man. Mercifully, he was like, go here, put it in there, take that, go this way. And he fucking marched me through the whole thing. So like every step of the way, I was like, okay, anything you say, Dom. And we were here in like a half an hour. It was fucking nuts. Like people, and it's like not on the subway in New York. When I was on the subway in New York, and this was years ago, long before I had a career or anything like that, people were just like, hey, fuck you, and shit like that. Where you're like, all right, you're right, fuck me. There was none of that here. Like nobody even talked to us. I would nod at people and they were like, harumph. None of this. They don't want any of that and shit like that. I figured I had
They're
to
busy
say,
going someplace. They got things to do.
but they were all looking at me because they're like, what's with the hat and the fucking, are those jeans or shorts? They're jorts. What is it?
No, they would look at you because you're going, this really is a tube. Look at this. Where are the seats? Hey, where are the seats?
I kept trying to make eye contact because I was like, where do you buy the snacks? I mean, we're on this thing for 25 minutes. Where's the restaurant? It was pretty cool, man.
Well, welcome to the real world, sir.
Thank you. The American Werewolf in London totally fucking lied. Like that.
Wait a minute. A movie didn't reflect true life?
I know.
The heck you say?
It's the thing that I always hear about Quick Stop when people go to visit the Quick Stop in real life.
Right.
They're like, oh my God, it's so much smaller in real life than it looks in the movie. And I'm like, well, that's because the movie's like, a movie and shit. And also, like, we're shooting at an angle where the stores, it's like the selling point angle. If it was a dick pic, it makes the fucking convenience store the best looking dick.
Right.
It's the right fucking angle and shit. So this, like, when I went in, I was like, oh, it don't look like the movie at all. I mean, it wasn't the same stop and shit, but it was fucking tighter. And I was like, oh my God, it looks so much bigger in the fucking movie. Like the same people that say the same shit like to me about Clerks. And I'm always like, yeah, asshole, because it was in the movie and shit. I'm the asshole, Ralph.
I was going to say, I'm glad you took the words out of my mouth.
But it was awesome, man. I've did something really new this time around.
It's
man.
very efficient, especially if you've dealt with traffic in London. It really gets you around.
We're not taking it back, though. Fuck that. At night, it's probably different.
Kevin has to be helicoptered out of here tonight. I don't know if that means anything or not. They're going to pick him up by a drone and drop him off in front of his hotel.
On a fucking rope ladder.
That's right.
So anyway, we were talking about Jay and Silent Bob reboot, man. And, it would be remiss of me to, like, just talk about it and not share a little bit with you.
I think word is out. Some folks have been talking that some folks saw a little clip from the movie earlier in the tour.
I brought the most relevant clip of the movie I possibly could, the one that features my good friend, Ralph Garman. So,
the entirety of my performance will be seen tonight by you people.
which is not a bad thing.
Not at all.
Not at all.
You get to see the arc of my character.
It's a movie full of cameos that don't last very long.
Right.
And stuff like that.
Some longer than others.
Yes.
Yes.
They burn bright and then, fizzle out.
Right.
So the movie, though, had, like, to give it perspective, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, at the end we did photo credits, like, of people breaking character and looking like they're having a good time. Cannonball Run type shit.
Exactly.
So we had 22 cards at the end of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Like, here's 22 fucking famous people and shit. This one, that one we shot in Los Angeles, so it made sense that we got, like, that cast. And also
People
that
just
was
have to
me.
show up.
I was coming off of Dogma, so people were like, he's the future of cinema. Now I'm the end. So so it was, like, way easier to fetch cast and shit like that back then. We were, like, turning people away on that one. So on this one, it was like, oh, fuck, who are we going to get and shit? And I'm happy to report that we have 44 cards at the end of this movie.
And these are legit stars, which is
Yeah.
awesome. And me. And I also am in it, yes.
You're rubbing
Yes.
elbows, that's true, with some real fucking famous people. It's cool, man. All of them came out, and they came to New Orleans, which is pretty far from, like, Los Angeles. But all of them came out and did pieces, and man to a woman, each one of them. When they were done, they were like, I'm happy you're still alive. And then they'd leave, and that was their way of saying, like, don't call me again.
This was the one.
You get one, heart boy. But I used it as best I could, man. I was like, if I'm only getting one, I'm gonna call in everything. And so, it was a wonderful walk down memory lane for me. Everyone that I've worked with over the course of a quarter century, like, I got to play with again. It was really sweet. So I brought the scene tonight featuring fucking Ralph, just to set up where it happens in the movie. As I said before, in the Brody scene, that's when Jay and Silent Bob find out that there's a movie happening, and they decide to go to Hollywood again. And that's, like, happens about the 15, 17-minute mark or something like that. So then we go to the airport, and there's a scene at the airport that then leads to what you're about to see. And at the end of that scene at the airport, the boys are taught about ride share. It's a concept they were not familiar with and stuff. We don't do Uber or anything like that because fuck paying them. So I made up a ride share company, and it's called Ride Me Now. And so the boys have just found out they can take Ride Me Now cross country if they wanted to. And they've downloaded the app, but of course, if you're going to use that, you need a credit card. And these two guys, of course, do not have a credit card. So that's where the scene takes place. One last thing I'll say is, please don't record this. We're trying to keep it fucking on the down low. Don't want anybody spoiling it, throwing it up online and stuff like that. This is for you guys because you paid and you're here in person. So
Yeah.
enjoy.
So be selfish.
Yes.
Keep it to yourself.
We'll be cutting it out of the podcast as well. They'll hear everything right up until this point, and then just when the clip's about to begin, we'll probably leave the start of the clip in, just like, holy shit, and then fuck,
We should
Cut
put a
it
big
off.
fart sound effect in there or something during that part.
the whole time. Yeah, that's how to make friends. But so anyway, this is just for the folks here in the room. If you see somebody surreptitiously videotaping, this is not the 80s, using their phone and trying to shoot it, man, just be like, don't hit them. It's not a Trump rally, but just, like, tell them, like, hey, man, fucking don't do that. He said not to, and he just had a heart attack, and he came all this way, and what the fuck?
Say, oi!
Yeah.
Oi!
You could throw some of that British common sense at him and shit. Like that.
Yeah.
Bit of that oi. Yeah.
Just like that.
If I
you guys
hear
have
one-
to rehearse, you live here.
I guess they're calling it out. They're like, oi, oi,
they're
oi.
saying it.
All right, so here we go, man. This is nobody's really seen anything of the movie anywhere. This is the clip I've only brought here since we've been doing the shows. But nobody's seen it in the States or anything like that, and we won't be doing it at the Babble-On at home and shit. So this is just for you guys. Movie comes out. It looks like in the fall, because I'm going to come back and be with it and stuff like that. Universal has it over here and stuff. So without further ado, a scene from Jay and Silent Bob Reboot featuring the great Ralph Garman.
Let's dim those lights and watch a little. You're too kind. Oh, stop.
In many ways, you make the whole movie possible, your character.
If I don't give up that credit card information, you guys aren't going nowhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there it is, man. Yeah, Universal has it, and I'll be back in the fall with Jay, and we'll be talking about it and showing it and stuff like that.
Awesome.
Can't wait to share it with you. Thank you for that. That was awesome. That was a great reaction.
Yeah, it was.
Now I'm keeping it in the movie.
Wait a minute, there was a question?
It was on a fence. There's ways to get around it, but
Son of a bitch.
they liked it enough for
I take back everything I said at the top of this show. All right, let's get things kicked off here in Hollywood Babble-On, the way we usually do most of our episodes, by talking to you kind folks out there in the audience who have come to join us tonight. People are celebrating special occasions or have come particularly long distances. It's a segment we call the Shout-Outs.
It's a shout out with Kevin and Ralph, so get your cock out. Yeah. Get your cock out.
Goodness.
It's weird without the
Used to
fucking
the
wire.
cord,
Yeah.
yeah, I know.
I was at an absolute loss, man. This must be what it's like when you encounter like an uncut dick and you're like... More of a European cut, if you will. Do people circumcise their kids anymore? Are you cut?
Here in the UK, it is not a
They don't do
custom.
that.
It's not a custom.
So
no.
even in the 70s, it wasn't happening? Like I was born in 1970, you were born when?
I was born in the 1960s.
And you were cut.
Yes.
That was when it was in vogue, when everybody's like, cut your kid's dick, cut it.
It's still the norm in the United States.
Is it really?
Yeah.
But here it was never the norm?
It was never the norm, no.
So here it's always like a wizard sleeve and
It's not a wizard sleeve. It's more like a snake in a knee sock. Why is the head all twisted? Why is that? You got Peyronie syndrome or something? What's that all about? Oh, it's gnarled.
Hello, Ralph.
Oh my God, it's the talking British penis. That's a new kid show. It's going to be on in the fall here. I hope you all check it out. Let's see, who's up first? Steve Greening. Are you here, Steve Greening? Where? Make some noise. It's a fucking podcast. What?
I heard him. He's there. Is that you, Steve?
All right.
Hi.
Calm down, Steve. You're way too excited.
We found you, man. This is like Where's Waldo? Pick someone else.
Steve says, hi, Kevin and Ralph. Welcome back to the UK. Steve has a request. Could President Donald Trump sing his version of the Divinals' I Touch Myself?
I'll be shooting that on my phone for the FBI back home.
This has been such a nice week to leave all that behind.
I know.
And now
Bring us
Steve is
back.
putting it back in my face again, so to speak. All right. U.S. President Donald Trump singing the classic by the Divinals, I Touch Myself. Here we go. I love myself, okay? I want you to love me. When I feel down, I want me above me, okay? I search myself. I want you to find me. I forget myself. I want me to remind me, okay? Unbelievable. I don't want anybody else. When I think about me, I touch myself, okay? I'm the best toucher of myself out of everybody. Unbelievable touching of myself. My little mushroom penis. Unbelievable. All right, that's enough of that. Ugh. That mushroom penis thing still gets me. Christopher.
I'd forgotten until you brought it back up.
Yeah. Christopher Judge, are you here tonight?
Tonight it's the night of like, yes. Tentatively.
Are you here, Quintima? Trying to get through, you know?
You're on your own, my friend.
I can tell by the way you're staring off in the
Oh,
distance
my
and not
God.
acknowledging me, even though I'm sitting next to you. Gavin, why won't you talk to me?
Don't. Jesus. Next you're going to start talking Brexit, and then we're really fucked.
No, we'll stick to American politics. Christopher Judge writes, myself, my hetero life mate Matt, and our friends Aurelie, Ant, and Jermaine will all be attending your show. Are they all here? Yeah, see, your friends are loud, Christopher.
Did he pronounce that right? Orally?
Aurelie?
Which one?
Aurelie.
Orelli. Oh, so he didn't pronounce it right at all.
Aurelie. She said Aurelie.
You were like, is Orally in the house? Some drunk kid was like, yeah, I'm here. Orally? Is that how it said? Yeah.
I forgot how continental you are. Mister, this is a tube. Look at this.
What is that from? You got an accent. Is that French? French. Very, very pretty word. What does it mean? Do you know? Yeah, fucking orally. What does it mean?
She's down there, by the way. What do you keep looking up there for? How high are you? You're hearing voices from all over the theater? They're right over there.
Where? Raise your hand real quick. Oh, there
Right
you
there.
are. Hey.
So, orally, what does that mean?
Did you think I was looking down my nose at you?
I didn't know what was going on.
Bonjour.
Oh, there we go. Christopher writes, been a fan of Kevin's ever since watching Clerks on a bootleg VHS. You got no money for that one, sucker.
It's true, but I got him years later, man.
That's right. I was introduced to Ralph through HBO, and I've been a fan ever since. Ralph, you're my fan cast for Perry White in a Superman reboot. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Why don't you reboot Superman? Give me a job.
If it was that easy, believe me, I would, man.
All right.
Fuck, I'd make you Perry White. I'd play Lex Luthor. Kind of fun, right?
Yeah, sure.
There's
a giant spider. Yeah.
Jason Mewes would play the giant spider.
That's right. We are a diverse crew from Hong Kong, France, Cyprus, and England. Wow.
What's Cyprus? Absolutely. He asked very continentally.
Yes. Aurelie, please tell him where Cyprus is.
Is that in France?
Stop looking up.
Calm down.
I'm guessing she's not the one from Cyprus. She's probably the one from France. Which one of your friends is from Cyprus, Christopher? Christopher, you're from Cyprus? Oh, okay. Tell him where it is. Christopher is not very loud. We'll never find out from Christopher.
Where is it? It's a Greek island. Oh, okay. Right on. All right. There's.
The more you know.
Yeah, I had no idea. Check it out. I haven't brushed up on my Greek islands lately.
In today's troubled times, writes Christopher, could the Germans please teach us the importance of friendship between the nations?
Absolutely.
Well, who better to talk to than people from a country that invented World War I and World War II? So, absolutely.
There's Batman and Robin and Ralph Malphite, Potsy, there's Rudiger and Klaus. They're Germans, not Nazis.
Yeah, we are not Nazis, people of Churchill. I'm still angry we lost the war. So, you are from Cyprus, and you are from France, and you're from England and Hong Kong. There's several of the allies in there. I don't like that.
It feels so weird to do this bit.
It's all right, they won. We're the losers. What have we got? Nothing. We got Volkswagen. That's it.
It's so much easier to do this bit in Los Angeles, where there was no World War II actually happening.
That's true. No, that's not true. We made movies about World War II there. John Wayne. Brrr, yeah, get that, you krauts, he would say.
So you are from Cyprus.
He's a Cypriot.
Is that an...
That's what they call people from Cyprus. Once again, I have won.
You are very smart.
Yeah.
You are very multicultural, like a Benetton ad.
Yeah. Do they have that here, Benetton? Yeah, okay. I couldn't tell from your reaction. That was 9.
It's more like a 7.
Yeah, 7 perhaps. Yeah, see, this is the most important thing for all the peoples from all the nations to spend time together.
6.
9 sexen.
Orally sex.
9 orally sex. Where is she? Auf Wiedersehen,
Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen. Yeah. Ooh, this is a good one. Tony White from Hitchin. Tony, are you here? That's it. That's how you do it, Christopher, like that guy right there. Tony writes, been a fan of the show for years. I'll be tending Hollywood Babble-On with my 62-year-old mother, Jill.
Where?
Is Jill with you? Where is she? There she is. Hi, Jill. Hi, Jill. You're
oh
adorable.
my God, this is adorable. Are you familiar with this show at all?
No. It says right here in the email, she has no idea who you or Kevin are. So I thought it'd be a good idea to show her some smut and dick jokes on a Wednesday night for some D-list celebrities. Yes, you're a good son.
At least you set her up properly.
She doesn't get to go out to London as much as she used to, and she doesn't get to shake her stuff with a fella out in the town very often. She is mad as a bag of spanners. And always used to be the life of the party. So could sexy Kevin please give this wonderful woman a few tips on what she should get up to now that she has a few hours to do whatever the fuck she wants in the big city? There you go, sexy Kev. I want you to tell 62-year-old Jill what she can get up to tonight in old London town. Let's get a little music for Kevin, shall we? Here we go.
Oh, Jill. I know of an American guy who'll let you fuck him in the ass tonight. In good old London town. That'll be one worth telling people back home. Did you ever hear of a guy named Ralph Garman?
Stop it.
I fucked him. You'll sound like me. Listen, while you're here in London, what you need to find is respect. You're a 62-year-old mother. That's all you should be looking for. Good times are a thing of the past and what.
Oh, that's depressing.
I mean, good times are to be had tonight. With your son.
Oh, it just gets worse.
Fucking
it just
healthy.
Gets worse.
Healthy good times. Why do you gotta fucking take it there?
You started with ass fucking. They didn't take it anywhere.
If you wanna fuck this guy, he'll
Stop
be
it.
at the local hotel. That's all I got.
Oh my goodness. Sexy Kevin. How dare you?
Can't. Fuck the sexy part. How adorable is this, man? You took your mom to a gig. I do that all the time and stuff, but it's always my gig, so it's kind of the same thing. But my mom loves it because she's like, oh, I love Kevin Smith. He came out of my pussy.
I'm sorry, Jill.
I just wanted to make sure they knew exactly where I came out.
Yeah.
How sweet. That's awesome, man. Continue to do stuff with your mom. I do it all the time. One of my favorite things in the world to do with my mother is when we go back to Jersey, that's where we were both from. We get really blazed and we drive around to every place that ever mattered where I grew up. And I tell her about it, and it's like pornography for her. Because she's like, oh my God, he remembers everything. I was a good mother. So I fucking approve this big time, man. That's fucking dope.
Do you think for a minute
that Jill will ever let her son take her out again after tonight? You think that will
Yes.
ever happen again?
I think they bond over this. She's just like, this is the kind of shot you're into. Okay.
Oh, boy. All right. Louise Pepper, are you here tonight? Hi, Louise. Coming to the show with my friend Bobby. He introduced me to the podcast several years ago, and I became such an avid fan that it was playing in the delivery room when I had my daughter earlier this year.
Wow.
Hollywood Babble-On in the delivery room while you were having your daughter. It's a horrible choice,
Yes.
I have to say.
Did it take your mind off of what was going on?
Why are you looking up there again? She's back there. Oh.
She is up there. Aha!
Oh.
Now
Sorry.
who's high?
No. Sorry.
Why that one in the birth? She said that it's laughter helps induce labor, but by the time we got to the Justin Bieber part of the show, the midwife was like, "What the fuck are we listening to?"
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Oh my God, we're a part of your family's DNA a little bit, or your genealogy. We were there, kind of.
Yeah, Louise says she was laughing so hard on the mix of Babble-On and gas and air that she almost kicked the midwife doing her stitches in the head. We'd probably be sued if that happened. This is my first time coming to London since she was born in January and leaving my 3-month-old daughter for the first time and thus resulting in an angry baby and the painful endurance of 2, no doubt, rock-solid leaking boobs.
Oh my God, did that happen yet? Yeah?
Are they leaking now? I think he wants to know.
We can get you a complimentary t-shirt. It's got me and Ralph's faces to cover the nipples.
That's right. We look like we're crying.
She has the weeping Christ on her chest.
That's right.
It's a miracle.
The weeping Babel.
This is your first time away from the kid since the kid was born. Like, I know the
right.
exact fucking feeling. This is the first week I've had away from the movie since we finished it. And that's my baby, you know?
And that's why your boobs are rock hard and leaking also.
Yeah. My shit's leaky too.
That's right. It's my birthday in a couple of weeks, and if David Bowie could sing me happy birthday, it would make my year, writes Louise. Well, of course we could do that for you. Absolutely.
Happy birthday to you, Louise. We're so happy you left your baby. Happy birthday to you, Louise. And we're happy that you have joined us. Happy birthday to you, Louise. Your baby is 3 months old now. She won't remember you're missing. So have a good time tonight. Happy birthday to you, Lou.
Really? My God. You're leaking out of a whole nother part of your body. All right. We also get emails from all around the world.
Ain't no drag.
Garmin's got an email bag.
Featuring Kevin's reactions.
That's right. This first one, this is very appropriate. We have a segment on the show where people write in lyrics that they've been singing their whole lives to popular songs, and they just recently found out they're dumb shits. And I love that. It makes me laugh very hard. This one comes from a guy named Bob Williams. I'm going to tell you the lyric first. I'm going to explain to you what he thought it was all about, then we'll play the song. He thought this song from 1979 was about the fact that it was the disco era, the end of the disco era. And people at discos, the music was so loud and thumping that they couldn't talk to each other anymore. And he thought the lyrics to the song were disco-phonic, so we don't talk anymore. Here's the song.
It's so funny how we don't talk anymore. It's so funny how we don't talk anymore.
yeah.
Some of them you can see. That one, not
That
at all.
is a stretch, man.
Yeah.
He must have been in a disco listening to that and he couldn't hear it. Cliff
Wouldn't it be
Richards.
more-
Cliff
wouldn't it be-
Richards from 79.
So what is the logic of that? Discophonic, so we don't talk anymore?
Right, the music is so loud that no one in bars was talking to each other because the disco music was so loud.
That's actually oddly poetic.
It's so funny how we don't talk anymore.
I like his version.
I do too. It's also from the UK, Peter in Oxford sent this in. There are folks who run across towns, places, streets, lakes that have fucked up names, and so we created a segment called Your Town's Got a Fucked Up Name.
Your town's got a fucked up, your town's got a fucked up, your town's got a fucked up name.
Peter sent this one in. As I mentioned, this is from a street in a nearby town. He lives there in Oxford. And Kevin, this is a legitimate place. Here's the sign for the street.
Oh, shit.
Cockshoot Close. Which sounds like Tarzan getting near an orgasm. Cockshoot Close. Slow down, Jane. Me want last. Cockshoot Close. Cockshoot Close.
Cockshoot close sounds like a painful fucking medical condition.
Of course, we always take a look at things that people send in that are meant for kids as well. These are stuff that's made for boys and girls to enjoy. And then when you take a long, hard look at them, you realize they are inappropriate toys.
Not appropriate for girls, not appropriate for boys. What the fuck is that? Inappropriate toys.
This first one is from, I wonder if he's here tonight. He didn't say he was coming, but maybe he is. Ben Ripley, by any chance? Is Ben here tonight? Ben, you here? Yeah, Ben calls himself the South London Silent Bob.
You'll be hearing from my attorney, sir.
Do you cosplay as the Silent Bob?
You do Blunt Man. Oh, real at the Comic-Con thing? Right the fuck on. We took a picture together? Fucking A, man. Why didn't you come over when we made that movie? We needed you. I had a bunch of people looked like me. It was awesome.
It's your favorite day of the
It
shoot.
was. Oh
wasn't
my
it?
God. It was like the being John Malkovich day.
Ben sent this one in. At first glance, this seems like an innocuous children's book. It looks kind of cute. It's called My Daddy is a Giant. Oh, isn't that adorable?
Yeah.
The only problem with this book is you have to be very careful how you put it in the shelves at a bookstore. Ben run across this picture. It's not for kids, really, when it's,
Boy,
my daddy's a cunt.
You guarantee you he was so disappointed when he got to the book. He was
Yeah.
like, giant fuck.
My daddy's a fucking cunt.
That would sell more than Go the Fuck to Sleep.
I think so. My daddy's a cunt. Brandy in North Carolina, back in the States, sent this in. This is a business nearby her, apparently, that deals, it's a consignment store. I don't know what you would call it here, but people take their clothes there and they sell them, especially kids' clothes, because your kids grow out of them. Instead of throwing them away or giving them away, you take them to a consignment store. Charity shop, there you go. You can make a few bucks.
Thank you. You saw him struggling and drowning there, and she was like, charity shop, move on.
This place is called the Kids Exchange. However, when you look at the sign, it might be inappropriate to take your kids to the Kids Sex Change location. I'm not judging. Maybe your kid knows already, but I'm just saying. Seems inappropriate to me.
I hope they got a discount, man. Like, you don't think there should be more space in there? Nah, it's fine.
It fits.
Everyone knows what you mean.
This one came from Brandon Dalton. This is our last one. This isn't necessarily inappropriate, but it sure is fucking stupid. Brandon ran across this as his kid was watching YouTube videos, and you know, the kids, that's what they do instead of television. I know my kid does. She watches YouTube instead. And so little kids were learning all the stuff little kids learn, especially in the States, the nursery rhymes and the songs that all kids know, like Old MacDonald had a farm. You know that one, right? E-I-E-I-O. Brandon's kid was watching this, and Brandon said this was inappropriate because, not because it's rude, but because it's going to make his kid fucking stupid. So I'm going to show you the video, and then we'll talk about it.
Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had a horse, E-I-E-I-O. What does a horse say?
What does the horse say? The horse says, I'm a fucking zebra. That's what the horse says. How did that get passed?
I don't know. Fancy horse.
Yeah, one of them fancy stripe-head horses. Jesus Christ.
It also looked like the tractor was about to hit an animal at the end of the clip.
Old MacDonald killed a cow. E-I-E-I-O.
And it was a dog.
And of course, it is common knowledge by now that I am confused by Japan. I don't understand them. I don't know why they like what they do. I'm just perplexed. And so I respectfully ask every week, what the fuck, Japan?
What the fuck, Japan? What the fuck, Japan? What the fuck, Japan? What the fuck, Japan?
This week's What the Fuck Japan comes from Kimmy DeLeon. She recently bought a toy from a Japanese store. It's from a company called Daiso. And it is it's a toy baby doll. Well, you can see the kids love to play with baby dolls. What's not to love about this? Only this isn't just a baby doll toy. It's actually a water pistol or squirt gun, as we say in the States. Now, how would that cute little baby boy be a squirt gun? Let me show you. Come on.
The box says, you're in for a lot of fun. I will when I get back to America. I'll file it.
What kid needs a baby pissing on it as a toy? Why is that a
The
thing?
kid at the kid's sex change place.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah, that's a good idea. We also like to say goodbye to some folks in show business who left us recently, but left behind bodies of work that we'll enjoy for many years to come. It's a segment we call the Tinseltown Stiffs. Oh, there's that toy again. He's squirting the dog in the face with the pissing baby now. That's one way to have fun with it.
What clip is that death meant to signify? The death of common sense.
The dog attacked the owner and mauled him to death for pissing in his face.
Now another edition of Tinseltown Stiffs. They will be missed.
They will indeed. Peggy Lipton passed away this week. Most of you probably know her best, I'm guessing, for her work on Twin Peaks, but she was also a big star in the United States on a late 60s, early 70s cop show with 3 young undercover cops called the Mod Squad. And there she is with her co-stars on that show. That made her a big star. And then she took a bunch of time off to raise her kids, and she came back to work in a big way with David Lynch in the late 1980s, 1989 to be exact, on a series called Twin Peaks, where she played Norma Jennings, owner of the Double R Diner. And Dan, I love that show so much.
What year was Mod Squad on?
From 1968 to 1973.
That would have had a completely different meaning over here. Mod was a different thing here, like the mods.
In the 60s, yeah. You're right. Here's a little scene from Twin Peaks featuring the late Peggy Lipton, who passed away at the age of 72 this week. She, in this scene, is talking to... what was the matronymic character on that show? The waitress who used to work for her was married to Leo. Shelley, thank you so much. Yeah, Shelley's going to leave her job at the Double R because Leo's back and he's a vegetable pretty much. She has to take care of him full time.
Yes.
And so here she is telling Norman that she's going to be leaving her job.
Look, Shelley, you've got your own life to worry about. I'll be fine here.
Are you sure?
Yes. And you look after yourself. When you're ready, you can come right back. It'll be like you haven't even missed a day.
You'll let me come back?
Just try to take a job someplace else and see what happens.
I don't know what to say.
Don't say anything.
72 years old, Peggy Lipton.
Huge bucket of wind.
She was the anchor for that show in a lot of ways for me, because she was always the sweet, normal, sort of motherly character to a lot of the other characters when everyone else was sort of a lunatic, you know.
She had a real ethereal quality about her.
Very much so.
Dreamy.
She was suffering from colon cancer and finally succumbed this week, so sad
72.
news. And then we also lost a Hollywood legend. Doris Day passed away this week at the age of 97.
Huge mountain of wind. Good Lord.
A star on so many levels. She was a recording artist in the late 40s first and had a ton of hits, and then Hollywood came a-calling, as they say, and they put her in movies, and she was a successful singer. She did Calamity Jane, the musical. That was her first big sort of breakthrough role. And then she became known for being the star of a whole slew of romantic comedies in the late 50s and early 60s that sort of defined her career. And she got sort of a bad rap. She was known as being too wholesome and too virginal. You know, in the 60s, there was a cultural shift where that sort of entertainment fell out of favor, and she became obsolete, and she went to television later on in the 60s and 70s, but her film career was never quite what it was again.
She's one of those names that's like synonymous, though, with superstardom.
Yes.
Like, you know, like Steven Spielberg is the director name that everybody on the planet knows. Doris Day is a name that everybody knew, even from, maybe not this generation as much, but when we were growing up, she was, even though she was older, she was still super fucking famous.
And she worked with all of the big actors of the day. Cary Grant, she did a couple films with James Garner, one of my favorites, but she probably...
Jimmy Stewart as well.
Jimmy Stewart, yeah, with Alfred Hitchcock and The Man Who Knew Too Much. But her big breakthrough in terms of romantic comedies probably came with her two films she did with Rock Hudson back in the late 50s, early 60s, including Pillow Talk. Which sort of invented that genre of romantic comedy. And it was very influential for its style as well. It was very stylistically directed. You remember that scene where they're talking on the telephone in separate rooms, but they do a split screen that is sort of the wall between their two tubs going back and forth?
Were they the first one to do that?
They were the first ones to do that, yeah. And I
shit.
brought that in tonight as we say goodbye to Doris Day.
Every time I look at you, I say to myself, we got all kinds of natural resources back home, but we ain't got nothing like that.
Oh, Rex.
Tell you something else, too. I kind of hated New York when I first came here. All those people seem so distant now. Don't feel that way now.
Oh, that's good.
Sure turned out to be a friendly town.
You'll find that most people are willing to meet you halfway. If you let them.
Wow. Class. She was classy. There's a film by my friend Peyton Reed, who, of course, directed the Ant-Man movies.
Down with Love.
But he did a song called Down with Love that's very much an homage to those kind of films, and he does that kind of split-screen thing, too, as a tribute to that film. But 97 years old, you can hardly ask for more than that, really.
No.
And they said she was in really good health right up until she died. Then she was in not good health, I guess, at that point.
That's where health usually takes a turn.
That's
Ralph.
usually where it does, yeah.
At the grave, yes.
No, she got pneumonia, apparently, a bad case of pneumonia, and that's what took her life. But
She's a big animal booster.
spent the remaining years of her life when she left show business being a full-time animal activist. She opened up a little inn up in Northern California where every day, instead of happy hour, they would have yappy hour. And you would go out there on the tables, and they would bring in puppies and dogs, and you would interact with them while you were having cocktails in the afternoon.
Why don't we do a movie called Yappy Hour about two fucking dudes? One guy gets fired from the radio, and...
One guy makes a movie about a walrus.
Yeah, they both need work. It's like daddy daycare, but instead it's with dogs, and it's Yappy Hour. Because we realize we hate all people, and we're like, well, you know, I like dogs. And we're like, that's how we'll fucking get back on top.
So we open a bar for dogs?
Yes, or, you know, a dog daycare fucking walk-in center thing. I don't know, it's dog-oriented. Look, I just like the title.
All right.
We'll figure out the script later on.
We'll
and
figure
shit.
it out
and
later.
that's how yoga hosers happen.
That's right, yes. Got to be careful. We also like to take a look at movies and TV shows and find the mistakes, the bloopers, the blunders, the gaffes. Somebody should have caught this stuff before it reached the audience, and yet they didn't. And so we call those things shit that should not be.
And now for shit we should not see. Here's some shit that should not be.
All right, today's shit that should not be is from here. It's from London, as a matter of fact. Listener, not on your life.
Smells like hummus.
Listener Alan sent this in. Apparently, just recently, it was Batman's 80th anniversary, the character of Batman.
Yes.
They were celebrating the 80th anniversary, and as all the breakfast shows, as you call them over here, or the morning shows, as we do in the States, everybody was doing a segment on Batman's 80th birthday.
Rightfully so.
Yes.
Second to Jesus only, he saved the world.
Right? One of the great characters in all of fiction.
You can count on him. Fucking fiction, stuff that shit. Just a great guy.
Okay, he's a good live person, Kevin. He's real.
A live person. Is that how you speak about he's a good live person?
Yes, that's how I speak about you. Yes, because there was a moment there we didn't know which way it was going to go.
Good point. Yeah.
ITV's Good Morning Britain was celebrating the 80th anniversary. It's Piers Morgan, of course, your favorite. He is universally hated. Here, our home, everywhere. Everybody hates Piers Morgan. Susanna Reid, also on that show. We understand you don't like him. We got that.
Also, he's not here, so.
Right, yeah. Is he here? So they were celebrating, and I loved the picture they used, naturally. Of course, that's my favorite Batman. But if you zoom in...
Oh. You had a 50-50 shot,
right?
Even if you didn't know it.
How does someone not suss that out before it goes on television?
And you don't even have to be like, well, comics verse. All you have to do is be like, geez, how come Batman wasn't in the Avengers? Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's right. He was in the other ones. How do you make that mistake on the dude's 80th birthday, no less?
Because he's a fictional character.
What? I thought he was a real live guy.
He is in my heart.
All right. And also, we like to take a look at acting. Sometimes bad acting can be so good, it goes all the way around to become exquisite acting.
To be or not to be, that is the question.
Welcome to the world of exquisite acting with Ralph Garman and Kevin Smith.
This week's exquisite acting comes to us from Ryan Kelling. It is from a film called Okja.
Yeah. About the big...
the giant, lovable super pig.
Yeah.
That they're trying to grow. This multinational corporation is growing these super pigs because, first of all, they're delicious. And second of all, they leave a low-carbon footprint, and they're the perfect livestock food.
And then the girl...
And a little girl who's been a caretaker for this pig, she comes to its rescue. And Jake Gyllenhaal's in the film, playing a character called Dr. Johnny Wilcox. And he's a television animal lover, kind of, I guess, like the crocodile hunter was back in the day in Australia, but he's an American version of that. And his choice, how to play this character, I don't want to say it's over the top. Yeah, that's exactly what I would say. It's over the top, way, way over the top. Here's this week's exquisite acting, Jake Gyllenhaal as Dr. Johnny Wilcox.
She's not the face of the Miranda Corporation, I am. You don't even know if she can do anything but cry. Whereas I am loved all over the world.
Could you sit down and shut the fucking squeaking and whining?
I think she speaks for all of us in that scene. He's doing like Ed Wynn or something there. Oh my goodness, yes, I'm loved all over the world, don't you know? What is that all about?
Not his audition for Mysterio, I hope.
No, I don't think so. That would be embarrassing. We, of course, join together every episode to take a look at all the entertainment news with a segment called the HBO Headline.
Give me head, give me head, give me headlines, and give me head.
Yeah. Boy, this Bond 25 seems to be almost jinxed, this film. They've had a hard time getting it going. They've lost a couple different directors. Danny Boyle recently. Now Cary Fukunaga is now taking the reins.
Really?
But they're shooting in Jamaica. They started shooting, finally, production on Bond 25. And Daniel Craig went down on his ankle. And
oh, that was so hot for a minute.
Oh, stop it.
I was like, who did he blow?
He went down on his ankle and really injured his ankle. They had to suspend production of Bond 25. They had to close it down.
He went down on his ankle? I believe it's pronounced uncle.
No, Kevin. He twisted his ankle and reportedly was in a lot of pain, they say, from a source on the set. Daniel was reportedly struck down during a high-speed chase on foot. As you'd expect, he was also pretty angry that it happened. He threw his suit jacket on the ground in sheer frustration. I hurt my ankle. Pussy. Connery would have said, fuck that, let's keep going. I have another ankle. I'll just walk on one leg.
That's good. Daniel Craig sounded like he was both shaken and stirred.
You're doing a lot of filing tonight.
It's fine. I did a lot of filing in high school. I know how to do it.
They were shooting in Jamaica. They shut production down and they sent Daniel Craig to the U.S. to get x-rays. Don't they have any hospitals in Jamaica?
Did they really?
That's what this says, yeah.
So when will they resume?
Well, apparently the x-rays showed no serious damage, and they're going to start shooting again. They say within the week he'll be back to work. But I still can't get over there must be some medical care in Jamaica, right?
I mean, I think...
Or is it all herbal medicine there in Jamaica, man?
It's true, that'll heal.
Yeah.
But you'd imagine he wants to be somewhere like, say, I'm sure he sees it as a free vacation. He's like, fucking A, man. I get to be off bond for like a week.
But he's shooting in Jamaica. What's better than that?
Being home.
I guess, yeah. Before he injured himself, he was shooting with a new Bond girl named Lashana Lynch there in Jamaica. We got a photo of the two of them working together. That's James Bond taking on his most difficult mission yet, trying to deal with customer service for his cable company, I think. I don't know what he's doing up there. But I'm very excited, by the way, since I'm here in the UK, I want to take advantage of my time here. They have an exhibit, I wonder if anyone's seen it, at the National Film Museum. They've got Bond in Motion. Has anyone seen that? Is it worth going to? Yeah, I'm going to check that out. Do we have any Ralph Report listeners in the audience, by the way? Anybody listening? Because my guest at the museum is going to be your UK correspondent, Mr. Steve Ashton, who is here tonight, by the way. Steve, where are you, sir? Where are you? Oh, come on out. Just wave everybody real quick to all the Garmy members there for the Ralph Report listeners. There you go. Steve Ashton, everybody. That's enough. That's enough. That's enough. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we're going to go check that out. Halle Berry, by the way, said she'd be up to being another James Bond girl if they would ask again. They're not going to.
She's in John Wick 3, right?
Yeah, she's a Wick girl now. Forget Bond, she's a Wick girl.
Wick lady.
Do we need every reboot sequel? No, we need Jay and Silent Bob reboot, don't get me wrong. But they just announced Josh Gad may star in a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids reboot.
I mean, I'm to be fair, it's available to be redone. Disney,
well, everything
Disney's
is
redoing everything at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, they've done so many. They've taken so many of the things you've loved and changed them. Why wouldn't that? Of course, that's a concept you could totally do again.
I understand you could do it, but Rick Moranis in that film to me is just perfect. I thought it was a great film.
Just like Jack Nicholson was the perfect Joker.
Yeah,
and then one day, he was replaced by Heath Ledger, and now Heath Ledger looks like he's about to be replaced, sort of by Joaquin's performance. You know, it's at a certain point, like that's a concept that could keep going. I'm not like fuck, I can't wait and shit. Although I think he's funny. I like
Josh Gad a lot. In this film, apparently he's going to play Nick Zelinsky, who is the now grown-up son.
They got me. That's all you had to do was connect the fucking two. Oh my God, I can't wait to fucking see this now.
But what if Nick Zelinsky makes a shrink ray and then shrinks his kids and then they go swimming in Cheerios or whatever?
Fucking done, man. As long as it's like he was the little boy in the first movie, oh shit, man. That's all I want are movies. I just wanted this vicious loop of things that I've seen until I die. I want sequels to everything I've seen, and then one day I drop dead. That's it.
That's very ambitious of you, Kevin. Congratulations.
I don't know. That makes me happy. At least they're doing that. At least it's not like a true reboot where they're like, hey man, this is the first time this ever happened.
No, it's a reboot/sequel.
Yeah, it's a requel.
He goes in the attic and he pulls the tarp off his father's old shrink gun, I'm sure. That's it. Stop it. I'm being bad. That's not good. I'm saying that's a bad thing.
That is the perfect fucking scene right there.
No, I was using it as an example of how hackneyed it's going to be.
Hackneyed or fucking teary? That's what I hear in that. You missed your calling as a screenwriter, man. You may bitch and shit about it, but fuck, that was a magical scene right there. You put me right in the fucking movie. I'm
I'll
like,
start-
oh yeah, then the Cheerios.
I'll start making hack remakes. Here's a remake I can get behind. Bill Murray has announced he's now willing to do another Ghostbusters film.
Yeah!
How about that? Now that's a movie I would watch. To get Ernie together and Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd and have them strap on the proton packs again.
Aren't they gearing up or making them?
Well, Jason Reitman,
Yeah.
the son of Ivan, who was the original director of the first two films, he is doing a third Ghostbusters, and now it looks like for the first time ever in this conversation, Bill Murray's on board to return to his role of Peter Venkman.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Yes.
Yeah. He was doing an interview, and he said, I have no hard feelings, because it was a long time it was believed that he just wanted to distance himself from those films. And he said, I never had any hard feelings about those films. That franchise paid for my son's college, he said. We made this thing. We are the caretakers of it. It's a great thing, and it was really a fun movie to make. It's a real movie with some really funny stuff in it. For years, they said, we can't make another Ghostbusters because Bill Murray won't change the deal he made with Sony in 1984. Well, they're right. No, I never did and never will. So apparently they've ponied up enough cash to make him return to the franchise. He always blames Sony now. He said that's what always was holding things up.
Was just paying him more?
Was just money, yeah.
And now he's getting it.
Now apparently he is.
Fucking
yeah.
A, right?
So he might return with Jason Reitman for the third Ghostbusters.
Oh,
How
fucking
awesome would
that's
that be?
tremendous.
Yeah. And I wanted to give everyone a heads up. I just saw this in the news. This is, well, it's called anexperiencewith.com. I've never heard of this business or not, but they're offering some unique experiences here in the UK coming up. It's a special evening with, like Kevin does, Evening with Kevin Smith. These are superstars who are now starting to cash in on your game, mister.
Actually, they're probably cashing in on their game. Same thing, like basically I would go out and talk about shit I've done. Now they're like, oh, you can do that?
Right, that's what I'm saying. They're taking a page out of your playbook.
I mean, they could always do that, though.
Well,
But
they
good for
never
them.
did until now. Sylvester Stallone has just been announced will be appearing in London and Birmingham doing a one-man show where he talks about his life.
That would be a show I'd like to sit through.
Would it really?
Yeah.
Just him yelling at you for 2 hours?
Yeah, what would that sound like, I wonder?
So anyway, I was like making a movie, right? And so it was like about a boxer, right? It was like fighting, like the championship. What? Don't talk, I'm talking!
Be a lot of that, I think. Arnold Schwarzenegger will be appearing in Newport and Birmingham with anexperiencewith.com.
So he'll be sitting there holding court.
Yeah. So look, I used to lift things that were heavy, and I got big and swollen. That's hot.
It'll be like that for 2 hours. But the most interesting one at Glasgow, Leeds, and London, an evening with Mel Gibson. Yeah, now that's a party. That's a good time.
Do you have a Mel Gibson impression?
I don't, because he's so shit-faced, you don't even have to. You just have to drink like him, and I plan to do that later on this evening. But how drunk is he gonna get? That's gonna be awesome.
I mean, do you think he'll skip over parts of the
I
career?
think he won't bring up sugar tits or his arrests, I don't think, at any time. In music news, Madonna is slated to perform at the Eurovision Finals on Saturday.
And that's the song contest where
That's the
people
big song
from all
contest,
over
yeah.
Europe sing and stuff.
Um,
So wait, who did it last year?
Who did it last year?
Like, who was the famous person?
I believe Israel won last year because it's currently being held in Tel Aviv. And that usually
No, I'm sorry. Who was the Madonna of last year?
I don't know if they. I don't know if they always necessarily have big time performances on the show.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Justin Timberlake?
He did it one year? Yeah, occasionally do it, but I don't think it's a tradition. But they're saying that, although she's announced she's going to do 2 songs from her upcoming album, Madam X, the producer said that may not be the case for the simple reason we don't have a signed contract from her yet. So they may not use her unless she signs the contract. She's also going to do a London Palladium residency here in the UK.
Oh.
In January of 2020, she's going to start playing at the Palladium through the 26th through February 2nd, a bunch of shows. She says, I am doing a theater tour. Have you ever experienced the magic of theater, she asked? The intimacy of a theater? I want to have an intimate experience with my fans. So she'll probably blow you, I'm guessing, if you go. It sounds like. And while she's there, she promises to explain why she now looks like a bad wax museum version of herself when she shows up. It's like Madame Tussauds is melting over there. I don't know. What's going on? More music news. This is actually sad. Britney Spears' longtime managers announced that she may never perform again.
Wait, Britney or the manager? Who's not performing?
Britney Spears would be the performer. He would be the manager, yeah.
She's done?
Well, he says that given her current state, and she's undergoing a psychological evaluation because she's really struggling with her mental health, that she certainly has no interest in performing now or any time in the foreseeable future. And he said she may never do it again.
Wow, that came out of, I mean, I guess it didn't come out of nowhere, but that was rather sudden. Weren't she just in court like last week or something?
Well, she left the residency in Vegas where she was performing because her father was ill, and apparently it also turns out her meds were not working any longer. So she went into a mental health facility, and now her parents are fighting over her conservatorship, yes. Oof. And then she walked out of court barefoot, by the way. And people are like, buy her some shoes. And also get her to a doctor. And sadly, someone who has not announced that they're not going to perform anymore, Justin Bieber, is in the news this week.
Justin Bieber, nobody fucking needs ya. You wanna know why? I'll tell you why. 'Cause you're a little cunt.
That's right.
I felt that one. There's reverberations in the air.
A paparazzo photographer is suing Justin Bieber for serious injuries that he suffered in July of 2017 when Justin Bieber was pulling away from church and ran him over.
Oh, fuck.
What would Jesus do?
Where's your savior now?
He would gun it, apparently, and that's what he did. Yeah, this photographer is suing for, let me see, permanent disabilities along with emotional scars. He's got a torn meniscus in his knee, a screwed up kneecap, and he's now suing for, it doesn't say how much money here, but I'm guessing it's a whole bunch. Bieber's defense, by the way, says that the photographer was to blame, that he was in the way of the car, and it was his fault for getting run over. I'm going to show you the accident, okay? And you be the judge. This is actual footage of that photographer getting run over. I wouldn't shit you.
Justin Bieber, looking good, bro.
Holy shit.
It sure looks like he turned into that guy as he was speeding away from church.
Yeah, fuck.
Who wants to get away from church that badly? He was in a hurry.
That was, I mean, if we have that, did the court have that? Like,
no, just us. It's weird.
We should do something. Huh?
No, I'm keeping it, man.
No, I think
no.
you can make a difference.
I don't like justice. I've told you that many times.
I mean, that would seem like an open and shut case, no?
I would think. But even at the scene of the accident, I'm going to show you another video clip. Here's Justin Bieber blaming the photographers for being in front of his truck.
Oh, this is amazing.
Why are you driving so fast coming out of a driveway?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, bro. You're good.
Hey, you guys are all in front of the whip. You know, it's really hard to, you know.
You have to drive fast.
What did he say?
He said, you guys are all in front of the whip, man. He should go to jail for calling his truck the whip. That's what he should do time for. Fucking death penalty. You guys are all in front of the whip. Fuck that cunt.
Yeah.
Hope the guy sues his ass off. All right, Kevin and I are huge geeks, so each week we take a look at the geek news.
Ralph and Kevin, Ralph and Kevin, Ralph and Kev's Geek News.
That's right. Jermaine Clement of Flight of the Conchords fame, one of my favorites, has just joined the cast of the Avatar sequels. He'll be working with James Cameron to do those films.
Is he playing?
No, I might go now that Jermaine Clement is in them.
Is he a human or a blue cat?
He is a marine biologist named Dr. Ivan Garvin. I'm not Ivan, Ian Garvin, yeah.
Ian.
The Garvin threw me. He joins a cast of Kate Winslet and Una Chaplin and Edie Falco and Michelle Yeoh and Giovanna Ribisi and of course Sam Worthington's returning and Sigourney Weaver and Stephen Lang and the usual characters.
But he's not playing a blue cat.
To the best of my knowledge,
Well,
he
actually,
is
no.
not.
He could do both, right? Like he could be this doctor guy, and then he is a blue cat when he goes into Avatar.
From what I remember. It's a long time since I saw that movie.
It's been a minute. You looking forward to this movie?
None, even a little bit. No.
Because there's about 20 of them
There's
coming.
17 coming,
Yeah.
yes, they say. It's going to be Star Wars, Avatar, all the way down. We don't need that, do we? Are you excited about Avatar?
It's going to make me love Star Wars even more.
That's what I'm thinking. Congratulations to Game of Thrones. Their most recent episode was the highest rated episode in the show's history.
Makes sense.
Understandable, right? It was watched by 12.5 million viewers during its initial broadcast, and then when you factor in all the other additional ways you can watch it online and stuff, it made over 18 million viewers, that episode.
Wow.
That is crazy.
So do the movie math on that. If everyone paid $10 to go see it, like at a movie theater, 18 million times 10 would be
$1 gajillion.
That's awesome, man. Good for them. What happens next week, though? It's all over, right?
That's going to be the highest rated, I'm sure. It'll beat this one, and then that'll be all over. HBO said if we had known people liked it this much, we would have canceled them years ago. Get a lot of viewers that way. And speaking of Game of Thrones, it has been announced by the Disney people that the creators of the Game of Thrones TV series, David Benioff, and D.B. Weiss, are going to be the new steerers of the Star Wars universe.
Is that the official title? Steerers of the Star Wars universe?
Yeah. I'm doing whatever I can here. Come on, pitch in. Come up with something.
I'm with you. I don't know, man. I think at the end of the day, like they've proven they can tell a long-form story over a couple seasons. And I know
They
some
can build
people
a world,
recently
right?
are like, "Hey, man, it's not ending the exact way I want to," but you got to give it up to them. They've kept the ball in the air this long and stuff. I'd trust them with a Star Wars or three.
They're going to do first of the new 3 entries that will hit screens on 2022. It's going to be a while to see another Star Wars film. And so...
That's because they're concentrating on the actual... The Disney Plus like TV show, right?
Right. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see Star Wars material, but we won't see official Star Wars films until 2022. So we'll wait and see.
Amen.
And I know this character is near and dear to your heart, Kevin. Swamp Thing is now joining the DC universe.
Yeah.
They just released a little teaser this week with Abby Arcane and her mossy boyfriend. Have you seen this?
I have not.
Oh, it's very sexy. You're going to want to fuck a plant after you watch this.
I always do anyway. I suck a plant.
You do, indeed. Here's a little teaser from the upcoming Swamp Thing on DC Direct.
Strange things happen out here in the swamp. Sometimes the man of your dreams turns out to be a monster.
Sexy.
I'm in, yeah.
Oh.
I'm in. You will believe you can fuck a plant.
Yes. You see that big vine comes out like this, you think? That's how they do it? It's going to be awesome. Before we say goodnight, boys and girls, we got one last bit of business. We have to say the latest and greatest about one of our favorite actors, Liam Neeson, and the size of his enormous penis.
We can't help but wonder how big is Liam Neeson's cock?
Wie groß ist Liam Neeson sein Penis?
That's right. You folks are kind enough every week to send in new facts about Liam Neeson's cock. Here are this week's. Liam Neeson's cock is so big. It turned Lady Gaga into Lady Gag Gag. Liam Neeson's cock is so big. While Big Ben was being renovated, it took its place. They just stuck some clock hands on the head, I understand. Liam Neeson's cock is so big, it can drink Ralph under the table. Well, we'll see about that, I'll have you know. Liam Neeson's cock is so big, it often cosplays as Donald Trump. We've got a picture, by the way, of a recent Comic-Con. I don't know if you want to see that. There it is. There's the president. And lastly, Liam Neeson's cock is so big. To avoid pregnancy, he has to pull out the day before he has sex.
Ladies and gentlemen of London, have you had a good time this evening?
My goodness gracious me, thank you so much for being here this evening.
Cannot thank you enough for coming out, but there is no show without the guy to my left. Give it up for Mr. Ralph fucking Garman, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's hear it for my pal and Babble brother, Mr. Kevin Smith.
And that is Hollywood Babble-On for this week. I'm Kevin Smith.
I'm Ralph Garman.
Babble the fuck off. Good night, London!